Good evening. I'd like to thank everyone for coming this evening. I know everybody has a busy day, so it's greatly appreciated that you all show up. I'd like to first start by thanking St. Paul's Church for allowing us to use their church, Reverend Holiday, and also Reverend Siddell for allowing us to use this facility. We really do appreciate it. This meeting goes back to my commitment during the campaign when we talked about connecting city government with its people. And this is where it begins. I believe this is how our government was founded. Politicians and people in the community working with people in the community where they actually live. I think that's how we're going to get a lot of things done and bridge a lot of gaps in our community. We're committed to trying to do this semi-annually, and we're going to try to get to every ward. So over this administration, we should be in every ward in the city. And no matter what ward we are in, if you hear about the next town hall meeting, please feel free to come. Just because it's not in your ward does not mean you should not attend the meeting. The more participation we get from the community, I think a much better community we will be. I'd like to start with some introductions from people of the city we have here. I'd like to introduce our police chief, Jake Simmons, our deputy fire chief, Mark Harris, Director of Development and Housing, Greg Caffey, Deputy Director of Development and Housing, Matt Assemeyer, Public Works Director, Bob Barnhart, Comptroller, Jeannie Cowan, Personnel Director, Amanda Scoggins, Corporation Counselor, Jim Shrimp, Director of Civil Service, Anita McAfoose, our Chief of Staff, Dan Herkert, from the city. I would also like to recognize 3 elected officials for being here tonight. It's greatly appreciated. Carolyn McAfee, your 2nd Ward Alderman, Miss Alice Martin, your 4th Ward Alderman, who's the Alderman where we find ourselves this evening, and our Treasurer, Cindy Roth. I'd like to thank you all for coming. And again, too, as we will ask this, I would ask you, it's going to be in a kind of a town hall format. You can have up to 5 minutes. We would like to keep it brief so we can get to everybody's questions tonight. If we don't have an answer for you here today, we have all the proper department heads. We will take the information and get back to you as quickly as we possibly can with that information if we can't resolve it this evening. At this point, I'll turn it back over to Reverend Stanton. He wanted to talk a few minutes before we open it up for questions. Thank you all for coming.
Okay, I got one announcement. We started an organization, another political organization, Citizens for Justice, and it's the CJPRE. I can't remember the whole thing, okay? And whenever we start having meetings, we're going to announce it, and if anyone is interested in being notified. Sorry about that, I need to turn this on. Wow. It's the worst protocol in churches itself. Man. Anyway, give Miss Rosie Brown your phone number if you'd like to be notified whenever we do start having meetings. You don't have to join the organization to come to meetings. And our primary reason for starting another organization is we intend to be more aggressive and assertive when it comes to dealing with the city and issues in our community, in our ward, okay? And you all have seen the criticisms in the paper, how people criticize our current leadership. I haven't personally gotten involved with that, but anyway, if you want to be notified when we start having public meetings, you know, give Rosie your number. Go ahead, Rosie.
No, I'm just letting you know who I was.
Yeah, hold your hand up again. Okay, like the mayor said, the rules are you're going to have about 5 minutes. Of course, if we start running out of time or you want to do a redress or whatever, you'll be free to do that, okay? Personally, what I really want you all to do is what I haven't seen done very much since I've been back home. I would actually like you all to actually be honest with these public officials. Don't be afraid to say something that you think they may not like, because the mayor, that's what the mayor has them here for. And we didn't request this. The mayor volunteered to do this. So I want you all to understand that he wants to actually hear how you honestly feel. I've been to some meetings like this, and just about everyone I've ever been to, the citizens were just sucking up to the politicians, okay? And that's not the way it works. The politicians need to I need you all to talk to them the way you talk to me when I'm talking to you, but observe protocol and respect at the same time. Okay? And believe me, that it will be very effective. Okay? Being too belligerent is not effective, but also being too passive and being a doormat ain't effective either. Y'all got it?
Right.
And those of you that grew up with me know where I'm coming from. Another thing, this mayor is a friend of our community, I think, and he can't solve everything, but I think he'll do what he can. And based on the character that he has, that I have seen in my experiences with him since he was running, even if he did his very worst, if he did the absolute worst, the next election, unless he really turned into Hitler or something, the lowest grade I will give him is an A- based on the character that I see in him right now. Okay, but at the same time, I don't mind criticizing if any of you all were at the first city council meeting when they swore him in. I spoke very harshly about the issues that I was concerned about. On the one hand, on the other hand, we don't want to be against our friends. Amen. Right. Okay, I'm up here trying to preach. A couple of issues that I'm concerned with, I don't need him to address it because he's heard it from me. I want him to hear it from you all. One is the police officer that is still on the force that was in the car with this girl that came up mysteriously dead. Okay? Another issue I'm concerned with is that we acquire more black policemen. Okay? Nod your head so these people can see y'all. Okay? Amen? Okay. Don't be weak. And I got here in my notes, the way we ended up getting 9 black policemen the last time in the history of this city, which happened back in 1972, we had a complete and total riot, okay? And it was caused by, it was triggered by an officer shooting my friend Hilton Perry because he stole some very cheap item at Sears. Okay? And these issues that are important to me, some people are concerned about the motorcycle clubs here. Okay? They're very disruptive. And again, though, I'll add, I got this in my notes. I am a fighter, and those of you that grew up with me know I'm a fighter, and I used to fight physically. But I have learned that the pen is mightier than the sword, okay? And the tongue is sharper than the sword. And I said this to the mayor, and I'm going to say it to you all. One sort of kind of type of apathy that I have seen in this community is a lack of a willingness to actually pursue things through your complaint system. I'm working on retiring from my 3rd job because I finally learned that I can fight better and more effectively talking and using my ink pen. And complaint systems work. That's a clue for law enforcement. You may think just because he's a policeman, like the cop you may be mad at, that if you turn in a complaint, you may think it'll be thrown in the trash. But it probably won't, okay? And just the fact that you may complain about a policeman or one of these people up here, and maybe they don't get fired right away, doesn't mean that it wasn't acted on. See, I'm retired military, and I kind of know how the system works. But I want y'all to understand that, and this is the direction we want to push y'all in. And the mayor wants you to do this, okay? Come down and deal with them, and use the system, use your city councilman, and they got complaints system that if anybody up here does something really wrong to you under his control, then he has authority to take action or look into it. So after saying that, again, I was going to have everybody come up, but it's kind of crowded. So we will open it up, and like I said, you get about 5 minutes, and you can go back and forth as long as you are respectful. Amen? But at the same time, please be honest, okay? Talk to these people the way you talk to your friends when you sit at home. Because the guy in charge, that's what he wants. So yeah, let's do it with a show of hands. Whenever you have an issue, show me your hand, and I'll just start from the front and work my way to the back. So all y'all here for something, let's hear it. The mayor wants to hear it. Give me something. Oh, yeah, okay, there you go.
Good evening, everybody.
Brother Holmes, go ahead.
My name is Richard Holman, and I live here in this community that we call Mexico. I've met the mayor, the chief of police has been in my area because I live in a violent area of the town. It's called Mexico. We're changing it. Now they want to call it Hampton Place. I've been here 12 years. I've been watching it come and go. Now it's changing of the guard. All you people are new in City Hall. Some that I recognize and some I don't recognize. But I live here. You don't live here. Alice Martin is my ward person. There's my mayor, chief of police deputy, some of the other people working in the City Hall, treasurer office. I know some of them. I'm the guy that grew up wanting to come back here and stay here. And as I come back here and I'm staying here now, I see the city changing. The hot spot is from the Circle all the way to Henry Street, from Brown Street and beyond, up to the Circle. All of us have came here to live in this area because Hampton Place built 100 new homes. They came into the community. The people that were in office before you people were, they took care of us. They really, really took care of us. In the last 3 years, I've seen violence escalate, drug sales escalate, a whole lot of things escalate because I live across the street from the park. I am over at Hampton Place Garden. In fact, I'm in the Village Garden. I would ask my whole neighborhood and the city to come and garden with us because if you want this to be the jewel again, you got to put more into it. I don't have to call at 2:30 and say, hey, the kids are fighting up there again. Somebody's got a gun here. I'm here now. Get your police force in order to circle that park. In a few months, school's going to be letting out. All school fights are going to end up, because everything has shifted from Alton and other places to that park up there. When the Hell Runs rededicated the park, they asked me to come and talk on the behalf of the community. I was so proud that they took time to put that up there for all of us. We got a skateboard track up there. There's not another one until you go to Belleville. Whites and blacks don't fight racially in that park. They sell drugs racially in the park. See? And I tell you this because it's getting worse. I'll be 65. I've been over there 12 years, retired. I can't go anywhere. Without all your help, everybody's help, got to help me get this community back in track. I know you want to shine, and we don't want to be on television with the murders and the drugs and all the things that happen here. But what we got happening here happens to every city in the United States. And if we don't take it back now, what you got to look forward to? Huh? What are your grandkids got to look forward to? Your job, mayor, your job, chief of police, you work hand in hand, that's your boss. He's only all the bosses. But you all work for us. See? You can't have a job without us. And you decide to stay here and take these jobs. So stay here and help us get out of this dilemma that this town is getting ready to go through. We got a lot of new people in this town that don't know about it. We don't know where they came from. But why are we always on the news with the drugs and killing?
Okay, that's about your time.
I'm giving you my time. That's my 5 minutes. But think about what I said. And I ask you all to help us who live in this community.
Now, who do you want? Do you want anyone up here, like the mayor or the chief, to respond or whatever?
Whoever thinks that they need to talk to me about this problem, go ahead and speak.
I'll go ahead and start.
Well, I can tell you with regards to being in this neighborhood for 12 years old now. I was on Highland and Brown for 12 years. I took a building that was overrun by drug dealers, prostitution, drugs over the corner, or run down the hill from behind my office. I would fight drug dealers behind my office literally daily sometimes. And I agree with you, it does come from citizens like you and myself reinvesting back in this community. I ran a business on that corner that had as many as 300 employees right out of that office. But I stood my ground and I didn't back down and I didn't cower down to them. I called the police, I worked with the police department, I tried to work with the city to make a difference, but we didn't quit, and that's one of the reasons I ran. I couldn't agree with you more. The city needs to we need to clean up, and that's why we're here. We talked about during the campaign, and I was blessed to have Chief Simmons take the position. We talked a lot about a community policing model, and we were trying to implement that. I think you're going to see the police officers more actively in our community. You're going to see them out on the bicycles. They're going to be talking, because the only way this works is if you communicate with us, that you tell us that they're selling drugs, and that you're not afraid of the drug dealers in retaliation, that you work with us. Because if you work with us, you will see in this last year since we've been in office, our arrests are up 6%. Crime's down 3%, a little more than 3%. But that comes when the neighborhood is no longer afraid of the bad guys, and they work with us, and we work together to fix the neighborhood. So it's going to be a two-way street. We are here to help. As evidence, we're here to see you. Communicate with us. If you communicate with us, I'm sorry?
No, he's just talking to his assistant. Go ahead,
No,
Bob.
okay. We're here tonight to assist you. I'm going to ask the same thing of you. You help us, and we will be there to assist you and help you.
Exactly what you mean by the community helping you.
When you see something that you think is unusual, if you see a drug house, or if you see a drug dealer, report it to us. We have an anonymous drug line. You can call and talk to the police officers. But far too often, you'll find in our communities, people become afraid. And when they lose faith in their government and they let the bad guys intimidate them, where they won't report crime, that's when crime wins. So work with us. We're here to help you. So if you call us, we'll definitely respond back and help you as quickly as we possibly can.
Okay.
Chief?
Does anyone else have to? Go ahead. If you want.
Yes, ma'am?
Yes.
Whoa. I'm the moderator. Whoa. Okay, no one else wants to speak on that subject? Okay.
I can speak on that. I was hired on in 1993 when we had a really bad gang problem. We had 2 bars down here on Highland Avenue. It was a magnet for a lot of people from Chicago, Houston. We had GDs from Houston. We had GDs from Chicago. We had vice lords from Chicago. It was really bad back then. And we had a gang initiative, and you don't, I'm sorry?
Whenever, real quick, everybody, especially you speakers up front, he's talking to the lady back there, so you might hear him sometime. All right, go
So
ahead.
we had a gang initiative, and for about 8 years, we hit the gangs hard. And we don't have the gangster disciples. We don't have the black disciples. We don't have the vice lords in town anymore. It's because of the hard work of the police department and citizens like yourself. And what the mayor is saying is that without the citizens telling us about these problems, we can't address them. And there's a huge barrier right now, and it's called no snitching. And the reason why that's in place, in my opinion, and it's part of my master's thesis right now, is that police work 20 years ago was wrong. And that was because a lot of the police officers did not provide courtesy. They weren't very professional to a lot of citizens, and they didn't treat people openly and with fairness. My officers now, I encourage you, if you're treated with disrespect, unprofessionalism, you need to come down and file a complaint. Okay? My officers are now getting out of their squad cars. They're not taking complaints from a door window. They're actually getting out of their cars and walking up to the house. Okay? We need your help. Without your help, we can't solve our problems. Okay? So please, when you see something happening on the street, don't be afraid to call us. It can be anonymous, but that's how we solve these problems.
Okay. Well, we have Miss Ingram next. Okay. One real quick thing I want to throw in, and some of you people here heard me give this speech down at City Hall about drugs. Okay. Being a retired federal employee, I can tell y'all that there are people that bring drugs to this community, in all communities, and they never get arrested. Okay. And but again, it's still up to us to try to keep our community as clean as we can, okay, on the one hand. On the other hand, there are people from the Pentagon all the way down to local law enforcement, and there's people on one side trying to stop drugs, and this is my experience, been in the military for 20 years. There's people on one side, same office, trying to stop drugs, but there's people in the same office dealing the drugs from the top down to the bottom, okay? This is why we haven't turned it off. So we need to face the reality. And the reality is the mayor, the senator, nor the governor can actually go and arrest the real bad guys. And that problem is really going to have to be dealt with on a higher level. And a lot of times, that's the 800-pound gorilla in the room that people ignore. Okay? That's the thing on drugs.
Which is what 800-pound gorilla?
The high-ranking public officials, civilian and military, that traffic drugs, and they don't get arrested. Okay, period. And can I get some amens in there? All right, thank you, because our children that live in the projects don't have the chemical laboratories to process cocaine as a green plant into the powder. We don't do that here, okay? We don't grow it here. It's grown the same with the heroin, okay? The heroin is grown in Afghanistan, and then it's transported here and processed. We don't process none of this stuff. But anyway, I don't want to do this too much. The next person was Miss Ingram, and I think Roy was after her. So go ahead, Miss Ingram. You got 5 minutes.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to follow up on what Mr. Holman was saying.
Mm-hmm.
I was happy to see the park open up where there was someplace nice for the kids to gather and do their skateboarding and basketball. But it has also turned into a place I hate to see once the weather warms up. Because you have people flocking from everywhere, and they're up there up to no good. And I just ask that there be more police presence. And I'm not asking you to sit and harass anybody, but just so that you're seeing more, the people who are up there for no good are going to disappear. Because it's not even safe to take small children up there. There is so much ridiculous fighting, drug selling going on up there. The reckless driving up and down the street, the disrespect, you know, you have people who have lived here all, and I've literally lived here right
All your
now
life.
all my life. And there are times when I wish I could move because of the people who come here to bring trouble. Then when something happens and it's published in the paper, we have that stigma, Mexico is terrible. No, Mexico is not terrible. There are people bringing their terrible mess into Mexico.
And I'll add a caveat to that, ma'am. A lot of our kids get a bad rep for the things that happen in our city. We are getting a lot of bad kids from East St. Louis and North St. Louis that come over here that are up to no good. And our kids do get a lot of bad raps.
Some that move from St.
You
Louis
betcha.
to St. Matthews
And
to
you
the
betcha.
area.
And to answer your other question, when the weather starts breaking, we will have patrols down in Hell Run Park. We already have school patrols at the bus stops, and you see our police officers out there more frequently now in lieu of all the school violence that we've had out east. But in the summertime, we will have patrols walking in the parks, things of that nature. You'll see a lot more police officers.
Okay, so there's a camera out there.
It is one. Don't you know? They put a surveillance camera out there 3 years ago. It broke down twice. I talked to the mayor before you, sir, and we tried to get it working again.
That was on a grant, and the grant had expired.
Right.
We do have 6 cameras available, and I can apply for another grant. We are going to do that. We do have 6 cameras available that we can put up at Salut Park, Hell Run Park, and a few places. And those monitors are monitored in our police department. So the desk officer, the dispatcher, if they see something going on, they can dispatch immediately.
So you're doing your job because I see you when I call you. My name is on the log for more calls than anybody for this area. Because I see, and I don't want my grandchildren, any children in this neighborhood get hurt. They've shot guns, they had pit bulls biting people up there in the whole 9 yards. But you have to be there. You got to get them out the cars. You got to make them walk around in plain clothes, and you got to make them do their job.
A lot of it is getting the officers, and that's my job, out of their cars to interact with the kids. The kids now, we need to develop positive contacts with the kids now so it carries over into adulthood so we can get rid of this no snitch barrier. And then when that happens, then we can start cleaning up our community. People will be free to give that information.
So you have a sign in the park that says this amounts to dusk to dawn. That means you can come in the morning, but you got to leave in the evening. I sit on my front porch every night, 8, 9:30, 10 o'clock, hearing all the noise and whatnot. I'm saying, why don't the police come? They won't come until I call them. Hey, you've got a bunch of people in the park, they're doing stuff. They try to burn up the gym equipment. I call them, you guys come right. Every time I call, you come. And I know you're doing your job, but you have to put it on a schedule because they won't get out the park at night until you run them out. See, people in our age group now, We're afraid because if you say don't do that, they don't care. They don't know you. They don't know us. Okay. They will tell you F you or whatever. Something bad. Now, I live here. I'm not afraid to call you. I told a whole neighborhood, tell me, and I'll tell the police. Because I'm not afraid of, I'm not afraid of God. Nobody else. These people have to learn. We're not ready to give it up. We're older now. You see it on television and say, take it back, take it back. Well, we didn't ever let them take it from us. We don't want them to take it from us. Drugs in this area is very prevalent. Prostitution, very prevalent. We got a lot of thieves in this neighborhood. You know, a lot of thievery going on. Only thing we're saying is, we just want to make you aware so you'll know when to come, so we don't have to call you. Make your patrols come out when kids get off that bus. Make your patrol come at night when they're not supposed to be in that park. Make them go away because they left other places to come and do their dirt over here. And I don't want to grow old trying to police the neighborhood. I've had my turn, but my term will never end until it stops.
Okay, good point. And we'll follow up on that. Okay, very good point. And I'm glad we're doing this because see now you all are talking directly to the mayor and the chief. Okay, and so now they see they need to emphasize that, and I think they probably will. Okay? The next person was Roy.
Stan, we're only talking about Hell Run, but what about the grocery store up here? We're talking about Hell Run, but what about the other end of Hampton Place, where you don't put how many more homes there? That means you're gonna have more people walking too. So you're talking about that grocery store too that's got to be policed. Cowboy Market got to be policed. You talking about Hell Run? What about Hassel? When you put another basketball goal up there? You got 2 goals at Hell Run, a skateboard ramp, and all these people going to that one park. Now, you know you can figure that out. Everybody's gonna be up at Hell Run. So when you spread them out a little bit, you probably have a lot less thieving and selling drugs and prostitution and all that.
Okay, so pretty much along the same lines. Okay, before I call on Mr. Young. Now, those of you who know me, you know I've always been known as a troublemaker as a child, right? I was one of these bad kids here in Mexico, and I want to make some trouble, which is, y'all still sound a little too cordial, unless this administration is doing an absolutely perfect job and no one up here has done anything to offend you or whatever. And if that's the case, that's good, okay? If it's going to be a nice, peaceful meeting, then it's going to be a nice, peaceful meeting, okay? I hear you criticizing our bad kids, etc. And I'm reflecting what the conversation the mayor had with me, okay? He's here, and if you have no criticism for these people, that's super, okay? But don't just sit here and talk about our kids, okay? We know about that. And the other thing is, and I'm going to get going again, this is called Mexico. I grew up here too. And no one can rename it. Can we make that official today? Okay? No one can rename Mexico. I heard that too. Somebody somewhere decided that it ain't. It's got a new name. Well, we name where we live at, okay? Okay, now, the next person, you know, give me a concern, and if you have, Mr. Young. Go ahead, Mr. Young, and then my buddy back there.
Hello, everybody. I'm Joshua Young. I'm a proclaimed social advocate here in Alton. Now, I've done some extensive research when it comes to the social economics of the city, and Chief Simmons talks about his master thesis when it comes to the criminal intent and criminology. I also have delved into this area to deal specifically with Bell Manor. If we want to reduce the issues of crime here, we have to reduce the contributing factors to crime. Like we have to, encourage the building of new jobs, to encourage the building of more non-for-profits and for-profits to come to this area so that way we can hire from within. We have to encourage our churches to be more responsible in maintaining a structure. What the barrier that we face when it comes to my advocacy here, and this doesn't deal just with Bell Manor or with Mexico, it deals with the entire demographic of all. What the barrier is, and the truth has to be exposed, is that our administration seems to want to pick and choose who they will and will not work with. They've gone as far as to threaten certain institutions that we will not work with you if you work with specific individuals. And we know that there's a power structure that goes back years in this town, an in crowd. Those that are part of this in crowd, sure, they get all the benefits of the town, but those that are falling behind, the two lowest economic classes, they need awareness, they need teaching, they need cooperative support. If we want to reduce crime, give the people what they really want. Give them a reason to institute their passions towards their progression. We want to talk about this no snitch policy. The research is out there. African Americans in this town call the police department more than anybody, more than any other demographic. That phone call, when those phones ring, it's African American demographic. So there are phone calls being made. What I find the issue to be is a rapport between the police department and the people. You know, their officers are really not respectful to the citizens on a wall ring, a wide scope. I've requested actual phone conversations with the police department that are recorded hard line, and I haven't received them. I've received blank copies. I've received excuses of why these phone calls weren't given through the Freedom of Information Act. Why? Because these phone calls have their police officers saying very negative things towards the people, as if they arrest them all and let court sort them out. We need to talk about policy and procedure. We need to talk about how do we build the bridges back, since we lost back in the early 90s when certain police officers retired off the force. How do we get those bridges back formed? I've gone multiple times to the police department to ask for a liaison. Officer Hana, I believe she does certain things, but she's not really aggressively pursuing a bond with the community. And there is no officer down there aggressively pursuing a bond with the community. So if you have advocates that are reaching towards you, saying, hey, look, we're open arms and we have a method, a scientifically proven method, one that was derived from Martin Luther King Jr. before his time frame, out of his Why We Can't Wait book. This is taking it back to the beginning, giving African Americans a chance to create, a chance to rebuild, a chance to restructure, a chance to regain identity. But our barrier again is we cannot get our administrative bodies to work across the board uniformly with everybody. We don't wish to have to become part of a in crowd to get justice for the people who are not represented by the in crowd.
Okay, brother, yeah, that's your 5 minutes. But one thing you said that because see, what I'm looking for is I want y'all to pinpoint specific people and specific things. Now, one thing I heard out of your conversation was some lady, and I think you and the other lady might have co-signed on that, may not be doing her job. Could you repeat who that is?
Well, it's Officer Emily Hana, and I'm not going to say she's not one to do her job, but
That's what we're here for.
She's not handling the community issues. Yeah, she may be doing sex offenders.
Can I address that, please?
Yes, you can.
What Mr. Young is saying is not all accurate. If you show up to the Weed and Seed meetings, the Upper Alton Business meetings, the Community Watch meetings that we have, these are meetings twice a month that I go to, that Emily goes to. Many times the mayor and our aldermen show up at these meetings. These issues and problems that we have in the community are being addressed. Okay, as far as your FOIA request, we have never turned down any FOIA requests from you. To my knowledge, we have always given you DVDs or phone conversations that you're requesting. The only information that I can gather is that you have to be more time specific on when those phone conversations. We have an old analog system. We don't have digital, but we have an old analog system. So if you're not narrowing that down within 15 or 20 minutes, there's no way for us to find that. Realistically, we probably get over 1,000, maybe even more phone calls a day. Hold on, sir. Hold on, sir. So by you telling the people in this audience that we are not addressing social and issues within our community is not accurate. It's not. And I resent that comment.
That sounds more like a town hall meeting. I'm serious, because that's what we're here for. Okay? And no, we can't resolve that, but at least it's put out in the open, and everybody hear it at the same time. Okay?
Yeah, and I can say another
Go ahead,
responding to that is if we were going to be, as he claims, the in crowd, we certainly wouldn't be here with you tonight. So we are here to help, we are here to listen, and we are here to help this community. Or if we weren't concerned about it, we wouldn't be here tonight.
Is there anyone here that's like older than me? Can anyone recall any mayors ever having a town hall meeting in Mexico?
I don't remember either.
Okay.
We had other mayors that would have discussions with landlords and the city, and we're not getting that now. The other thing that I want to say is...
Well, wait, not your turn. He was next, and then we'll get you. The message received, Brother Young, and again, that sounds more like a town hall meeting. And like I say, what I've been experiencing here in Alton is everybody just being nice to the politicians, but the politicians work for us. Tell them what you think, but be respectful. Go ahead, bro.
Good evening. My name is Carlton Cannon, and I'm a business owner. I own a barbershop up the street. And really, it's kind of like perfect timing because that was my question about the relationship I've had with the police officers. It's never been good as a business owner. I've had to call the police a few times. Don't want to because I try to be, as a barber, you try to be kind of not everybody's friend, but you're the guy in the community who I really need as many friends as a barber as possible. I'm a good guy, you know. So, but when it's too much, it's too much, you know. And at times that's when I call the police. It's just too much. All right. There's been a few instances where I've called the police where you had a camera on my pole where my property was damaged. Now, I don't know about your footage and time space on your phone calls, but I asked the police officer with a specific time frame to review the camera of the damage that was done right below the camera. No recollection.
Are you talking about the camera at Central Package Liquor?
That was there.
Yeah,
on top of the pole on Royal and Central.
Yeah, that's been, well, I hate saying that hasn't been functioning in quite
So it don't work? Okay.
Okay. Well, that's, you know, I guess. But
That's why we're here.
as far as grant money or whatever, so
Right.
I paying for not working the equipment, which I guess I'm a taxpayer, but is that coming out of my taxes or how does it work?
The grant was obtained to put those cameras in place. We put cameras, I think, in Oakwood and at that time in Josteen also, and I believe we put them out in Alton Acres. The grant has since expired, so the upkeep on a lot of those camera systems we just couldn't afford.
I see. The camera was quite beneficial. The camera was like a guy watching when nobody was there. It was
Those
perfect.
cameras, I'm telling you, they solved a lot of stuff for us.
But the actual interaction with the police officers was terrible. And the police officers, when they approached me, they asked me, I hope you're not doing anything illegal. I said, okay, well, first of all, I want to say get off my parking lot. Because, first of all, this is my property. I said hello. You approach me and say out of your mouth, I hope you're not up to nothing illegal, and that's all you say. I'll invite you in for a haircut. You never come in for a haircut. You can all come in for a haircut. Won't come in for a haircut, but you'll sit in front and run business away.
I'll
So
take you up on
the
the
thing
haircut.
is, come on in.
I only get it once every 2 months, 3 months, but I'll come in.
You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome to come anytime. Anytime you get a haircut. You don't have to, hey, I'll look out when you go to Quick Trip. I'll give you a free haircut. When you come in my shop, all thing I ask is when I need you, I need you. But when I have business, you know the difference between someone who's up to mischief. And I don't see you guys being a problem like that right by our businesses right there. I don't. But when I need you, I don't need that rapport where it seems like you're talking to me. I'm not. I don't have to be
Well, I mean,
all the time. I just want to get
would
the
you
point
agree
across.
that area has gotten a little bit better
yeah.
since they stopped selling the little rose vials? That was a city, you know, there was a lot of issues, you know, 4 years ago. They were using the little rose vials for crack cocaine, and you know, they were selling the 1 cigarettes, and we've kind of attacked that problem. I agree with you there are some officers that are very, very unprofessional, and that's my job to deal with that. And if you deal with an officer, all you have to do is write his car number down, or a badge number, or give me a time of day, because then I can.
They won't give it to you.
It doesn't matter. I mean,
License plate.
all you have to do is tell me, what time of day it was. They're all on a schedule, okay? And that's fine. I can look that up.
Now, I won't give every instance that's happened, I won't. But there's been more than one where I've had my own car towed off my own lot, where they didn't even come in and say, hey, whose car is this? Car ran great, best run car I've had. It looked terrible.
I saw it.
No, that's a different bad looking car.
Well, I got a question, Carlton. The bad experience you had with the policeman, how long ago was that?
Well, there's been a few, but
A few years,
the
okay.
one I would say with the car, I think it was Sullivan. He called down to Fred and told them to release my car, but I had to go to the mayor, to his office. I had to go read the ordinance, try to get a copy of the police report from the police department. They wouldn't give it to me. They said, come back later. Came back later. Come back later again. Come back later. Come back later again. 2 cops would come out and play with their baton and all this other stuff. And I'm looking, there's one on this side, one on this side. I just need a complaint form. I just need my report, my police report. That's all I need.
So you did a
Guys
complaint?
on each side of me, every time, I got things to do today. I mean, how hard is it to get a police report?
So you did a complaint?
Well, that's the thing.
Well, let me ask you this. Did you have to pay for the
I'm
toll?
gonna tell you, I've decided that from here on out I will. But when they give you the handshake and say, hopefully everything's fine, in the past I said, okay, well that took care of that.
Did you pay for the toll?
Didn't pay for the toll. But took Layman to get my car. I didn't want to drive it. I said, I'm not going to drive it. I'm going to get the car towed to where it's going to go.
What I want to point out to other people in here from the community is he took some action and went in and seen some people, even though he got a hard time, but he didn't lose all the money he could have lost. And again, like I mentioned earlier, be willing to fill out complaint forms. Okay, I don't know who's next, so I'll just go, the brother right there in the blue car. No, she's next. She's next.
Okay, I'm just amazed. Do the police officers, don't they have to give you the information about their name or their badge number? Don't they have to do that?
If they're asked, they should, yes.
Not they should, but they should be required to do that. I've never heard of such a thing.
And they don't give it to you.
I mean, if they're investigating a call, most of the time the officers do give them the case number and their name, okay?
Now, if
So
we
that
turn a report in about a policeman not being, that's being rude or uncooperative with us, can we then be assured that they will be chastised?
It will be investigated, okay? There are some complaints that we get, okay, and I'm going to be honest with you, at the police department that are unfounded, okay? And a lot of it is during traffic stops. When we do traffic stops, those are all video recorded. So a lot of times people will say, hey, this officer was real rude to me, he was rude to my wife. Well, then we play the videotape and the officer did nothing wrong. He was very, very professional. And once we show this to these people, if we didn't investigate it, okay, I'm going to take the side of my officers, okay, and I'm going to investigate it. If I find out that there's wrongdoing or they were unprofessional, they're going to get dinged. They're going to get red
And
line.
will we be notified that they
We have, yes ma'am, on any complaint, we cannot turn you away at the door. We have citizen complaints, you fill it out, every complaint will be investigated.
And we will be told about it.
Yes ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Chief, I actually have an intern away at the door.
I'm sorry?
I actually have an intern away at the door by Sergeant Rathcat. He's really aggressive. But let's not all take away the fact of the nature of anxiety when approached by a police officer here. You know, we're talking just the regular, say, 17 to 25-year-old demographic. None of them are looking right here. I have to tell them all the time, if you're approached by a police officer, if you had an interaction with a police officer, yes, it's tagged and respect, but you have to look right here, so that way you can make sure to gauge all the information. But what they're saying is with the tactics being used, and I witnessed some of these tactics firsthand, it's almost like a bullying tactic. You know, they're intimidating.
Okay, we're going to move on because we don't want just don't want something to go on. But again, I'm going to re-emphasize, and I'm telling you my experience as being a black person with that I had a lot of authority, and people didn't like that I had authority. And my experience with the United States government and with this city, do the complaints and keep doing the complaints. Even you won't win all of them. But the thing is, in all honesty, I've heard more than one person say, the people here in our community, we don't use the complaint process enough. And we don't have faith in it. I'm gonna just start from this end and work my way over. Everybody hold their hands up that had their hands up a minute ago. I'm gonna get the young lady. She seems pretty young. I wanna hear what she got to say.
Hello, my name is Nicole Henson, and I want to know why there aren't any programs in place for felons who get out of jail and come here, and they can't find a job. And there are no programs here to help them. I have an uncle that was locked up for 17 years. He come home and he looks for a job, and he looks for a job, and he looks for a job. And it's almost as if there's double jeopardy on him, that he goes to jail, he does his time, he comes home, and there's no one out here to help him get a job. I know in larger cities, they have programs and places set up where fellas can come and they can get help and they help them find jobs. But I don't know of any. And, excuse me, are y'all listening to me?
Yes, ma'am.
We'll get some information.
Okay,
I'm aware of your problem. I'm just giving him the information.
okay, because I don't know of any programs here in Alton that helps with anything like that.
There is. It's called Returning Citizens. It's out there by Jimmy John. So we do have that program.
But what is it?
It's called Returning Citizens. Is that right, Chief?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Returning.
That's
Okay,
right.
who's over there?
It's run by Lutheran Services, which is affiliated with the Department of Corrections, and it's up and running. They're trying to get their wheels spinning now, but I believe the office is right behind Jimmy John's.
How long has it been up?
Not very long.
December, maybe. Roughly first of the year.
Was that in October?
Yeah, I believe they had a concert for that.
They did. They had the church on College and Johnson that had Ray Charles's daughter.
Okay, well, that one, see, that's the type of thing that should be on the front page, though, instead of having.
Actually, her singing was on the front page, I believe.
Yes, it was. The singing
Yeah.
was on the front page, but was the information there, this is for felons on the front page, because I didn't see it, and I read it all the time.
That's what it was for. It was for returning citizens, and she just happened to highlight their event. But yeah, the event was for.
Okay, what's the name of it again?
Returning Citizens.
And where, you said by Jimmy John?
Yeah, I can't remember.
It's
Northport Drive. It's the old unemployment office.
If you
Okay,
want to
yeah, the
know
old
somebody,
unemployment
if
officer.
you want to know somebody to contact, you can contact Reverend James Webb down at St. James Baptist Church. He serves on that committee.
Okay, and I also want to speak on the complaint papers. I know for a fact that you can go down to the police station and ask them for a complaint paper, and they will not give you one. And I think it's kind of crazy that you want me to turn in my complaint form to the police officer who I feel like is harassing me. Like, why would I feel like they would turn in my complaint if I'm complaining against them?
Well, if you're having a complaint with an officer out on the street and you come inside, you're going to be dealing with the desk sergeant or the watch commander.
And I know
Okay.
I've been down there for a fact and asked for a complaint paper, and they tell you that no, they're not going to give you.
Then if that happens, you can email on our Alton Police website. It gives my email address, it gives the captain's email address, the chief of detectives. You can email to make sure that complaint was obtained. And if it was not, we will respond. I respond to everyone's email that sends me an
No,
email.
I'm not saying,
But what if
for you
you
to
go
obtain,
to
I'm saying,
first-
why?
Wait, this
I'm
one
saying,
more
why
time.
won't
Stay
they
on
give
time.
me
We get to you.
one when I'm asking for one?
Ma'am, I can't, I wasn't
It's
there.
misconduct. It's
Yes.
misconduct.
I'm
Okay.
telling you that that's inappropriate for that officer not to give it.
Okay, well, thank you.
Okay, Mayor, would you be extremely aggravated if a lady like her came to you and then went to him?
No, not at all.
Okay?
I mean, we do feel
Like
free.
if you go down to the police department and you feel like you're bumping heads with them and they've been unprofessional and harassing you, go over their heads and then work your way back
Is that the
down.
procedure that all of our citizens have to go through?
Do what it takes. And I don't want to dwell on it too long because I don't want to get stuck on one subject, okay? I want this to be productive. Respect everything you're saying though. Okay, well somebody right in here. Go
I
ahead,
was
man.
just saying, what if the person do have to email, like some citizens, they don't know how to work the computer or whatever, you know what I'm saying? What do you do for them?
Well, like I just said, if you're having a lot of trouble at the police station, go down to see the mayor. Sometimes I go see him and I don't have an appointment or whatever, okay?
And I am Ramona Bass, so you get a chance to see
Okay?
Okay.
That's why we're here.
I think we talked on the phone.
Okay, go ahead, man. You done.
Still waiting on my deal.
Yeah, my name is Harrison Henderson. I've been in Maplewood Heights, as they used to call it. They call it Mexico now. I've been here for 20 years. We moved out of Sullivan Drive and bought a house in Mexico and renovated it. And we've been here for going on 24 years now. Okay? But my problem is, when they tore all the projects down, everybody came into Mexico. We didn't have that problem before then. Because I lived here like, I'm gonna say 6 or 7 years before the guys were speeding up the street. I called the police department, tell them about guys coming up Garden Street flying with 70, 80 miles an hour. Nobody shows up. We'll send an officer out. But Chief, I had a problem with one of the officers, Officer Splendoff. He arrested one of my boys. I just went down there, I asked him, I said, well, why are you arresting him? Son was sitting on the opposite side of the vehicle, and he arrested him and said he was driving the vehicle. Okay, he was not driving the vehicle, but he arrested him for it anyway. I asked him why was he arrested. He never gave me an answer. He ignored it. I knocked on the window while he was sitting in the vehicle. He ignored it. There's a complaint down there on him if they haven't thrown it away. And you could probably look it up probably a year and a half ago or 2. And what I'm saying is, your officers are very disrespectful. Now, I know a few officers, and they're nice guys. But the majority of the guys are not very nice. You want to talk to them, they just blow it off. Act like you're not standing there. And another thing, a pet peeve I do have is when you're driving through the neighborhood, you ought to tell your guys when the guys are standing in the middle of the street, talking to another guy, and the cars are bagged up behind them, and they won't move. They look at you like you're an idiot. They need to give them a ticket.
Right. Proper parking in the road.
Yes.
That's correct.
Yeah. And parking in alleys. I've got a pet peeve on the alley. I live at 1315 Harold.
That's the gentleman that had auto mechanic stuff in the back?
Yeah.
We've addressed that, because I think Building and Zoning, Ms. Martin had called me, and within 2 or 3 days, they went out and they wrote probably 10 or 15 tickets.
Yeah, well, it's still going.
Okay, well,
They came back again?
They still sitting in the alley.
they're probably working on some other cars.
Well, it's not just
call us and.
It's not just cars, but you know, my thing of it is, you know, we live the neighborhood people that lives there on Highland, which my daughter's on Highland. I live on Harold. She's right back to back. And my other neighbors, we can't get through that. They're always sitting at the end of the alley, and you got to ask them to move, and they look at you like crazy. You know. And my thing of it is, you know, this summer you're gonna get a lot of phone calls from me about that. And I ain't scared to have Mrs. Martin to tell you who I am. I've been in the neighborhood for 20 years and not going anywhere, unless I wouldn't allow her to move to St. Lucie. But I would like you to look into it.
I will. And we have addressed the alley issue because Ms. Martin, she calls me probably on a weekly basis about problems in her ward, and we address those as quickly as we can.
Okay.
Sometimes it takes a little while, sometimes it doesn't.
And our other problem is speaking in the neighborhood. We got kids who live in the neighborhood. I got grandkids who live in the neighborhood. And these people, they drive up and down Highland, down Harold. They run the stop sign. They don't stop. Now, most of these people that's coming through the neighborhood doesn't live.
Yeah, there was a gentleman, he's not in here, that lives at the corner of Finney and Highland Avenue.
Okay.
And the brick house. And
Anderson.
Yes, and we sat up there on one weekend, parked on Finney, watching the cars go by, and we literally, I think we wrote 20 or 30 tickets on a Friday and Saturday night, and obviously they're still doing it.
Yeah.
So I guess we're just going to have to hit that area pretty hard.
Well, a good place to sit on our street is on Harold Street at the top of the hill. You catch them going and coming. That's all I.
Okay, I'm just gonna work my way. Okay, go ahead, Brother Green.
Yeah.
Now you work from now. You can't get too rowdy.
Yeah. But I would like to see, and I think it also would help with the police problem. We need to see minority hiring. We need more minority hiring in all departments. You got some departments don't have any minorities in it. Sewer maintenance don't have any. one in sewer treatment. That ain't right. You know, public works is dying down. I think y'all no full-time part in park and recreation. None. Full-time. And in the police department.
In the police department, sir, since I'm becoming mayor, we have gone to some job fairs. We continue to do that.
That's what we need.
We have 2 black officers.
Right.
We have Officer Warlick and Officer Bumpers. The last promotional testing that we had, and I don't know if Ms. McAvoos can justify the numbers, but I believe there was, out of 72 applicants that showed up to take our police department test, I believe there was only 8 African-American applicants. So, and I know she has done a good job as far as advertising over in St. Louis. They put ads in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, Belleville paper, put it online. Believe me, that is a concern of mine. I'm doing what I can.
I think that helps some of the problems that they have. They said they have a problem with officers. If they had something that looked like them, maybe they can get a report going on.
Miss Sergeant Young, Josh's mom, would go to these, and she was very, very good at what she did.
Right.
And she would go to SIUE. I think she even went as far south as Carbondale. And she would go down there, and I think that's what we need.
But yeah, we asked why she only made it to sergeant.
Well, that was another question I had.
Well, that's another subject. Let's keep moving on, okay? Although, no, I won't say anything. Y'all said enough. And we do, I think I mentioned that earlier, we need more black policemen. You know, because like I said, the worst ride this city ever saw was caused by a policeman, a white policeman, shooting a young kid in the back for a very minor crime.
They hired them because they had a federal mandate.
Yeah, after the riot, after we brought the city up.
Police and fire.
Right, but it shouldn't take that. Now we got, all right, go ahead.
Back in the early 70s, following those days, I was with the Land of Lincoln at that time. I worked with Joe Bartolak on that lawsuit in federal court that ultimately led to a decree agreed to by the administration at that time. Of course, I wasn't in it at that time. But that decree required that the city of Alton take affirmative action to try to recruit minorities for police and fire. It only addressed police and fire. That was in the probably mid-70s. And we, for more than 20 years, had a pattern when we had openings, and Anita's been with the city for years. We not only advertise at the Post and these other public places, but I think there's even a list of African-American churches that get, every time there's an opening, the special notice goes out. And we have tried for years to recruit more African-Americans to police and fire. The honest truth is, we don't get enough applicants who can get through the testing to fill the positions like we would like.
Can we outsource from East St. Louis? Like say, we go to a neighboring city where they have a multitude of African-American police officers and give them an incentive to move
Can I comment on what you're saying right there? This test that these people aren't passing, is that the police officer test?
It's a civil service test.
Civil service test. Now, a person that's already a policeman, would he have to take that test?
Yes.
Okay, but since he's already a policeman, he probably will pass it. And but if I'm not mistaken, the process in hiring policemen is it more? It's not totally objective. Am I not correct? Is it still subjective? Is it more or less like if I go for a job in a factory, and we all have, everybody has scored different scores on the test or whatever. It's a whole complete hiring process, and I need an answer, I guess, from the human resource lady. Because it looks to me like the city is practicing discrimination, and purposely not. This is what it looks like to us here, okay? I'm not asking you what your opinion is. Anyway.
It may look like it, but I can guarantee you we've had an active affirmative action in police and fire for over 30 years.
I understand that. But what's going on now appears to be discrimination. I'm not going to debate it. We're here to discuss how we feel about things, okay? We're not going to argue back and forth. And anyway, I will get to her. It's obvious. Well, anyway, what I'm going to be doing, like Brother Young was saying, I'm going to actually, I've already spoken to some black policemen from the Metro East St. Louis area, East St. Louis area that are already policemen. And now we're all here to hear this, okay? Because again, and the way but the people in my community feel, it's mighty funny. The only time we hired 9 black policemen was after we burnt the city up. And then after that went away, then all of a sudden, no black people can qualify. Now that's an opinion. We don't want to get into too many back and forth. Now I want to, let me let her, you're the human resource lady, right?
I'm civil service.
Well, who's the person responsible for
Personnel
that?
director, well, that would be me.
Okay, can you comment on what we're talking about, please?
For the police application process, we advertise in St. Louis, in the Post, in the Sentinel, the American, the black newspapers in St. Louis, the East St. Louis Monitor. We contact black churches, black organizations. It's quite an expensive procedure when we set out to start taking police applications. Once we take the applications, they take a general aptitude test. Basically, the reading level on this was gauged at a 10th grade level. We require a high school diploma, but we determined that the average student graduating from high school does not read at a 12th grade level. So we back that down to a 10th grade level. They take that test, the written examination, then they take an agility test, and that is gauged on what 40% of the population can do physically. Once they pass both those tests, they're put on an eligibility list in the order of their ranking written score. And we process that list one person at a time. We don't jump down and get candidate number 11. We work through 1, 2, 3, etc. They are given an opportunity to post their military points. We give points for education. If you have any bachelor's degree or an associate's in criminal justice, they get points for that. The basic process, like I say, once we get through that list and a final list is posted, then they do a background investigation. There's a psychological evaluation and a medical physical before they're hired. And it is as unbiased as it can be from what I have.
But let me talk. We won't get a free for all. Now, you got objective processes, and then you have subjective processes. Now, the reason I'm asking this question, because y'all just rehired an officer that had a DUI and had gotten fired, okay? So what I'm saying is, my question to you is this a totally objective hiring process? In other words, if 10 people take a test, do you hire the guy that gets the most points on the entire process?
Yes.
So the person that accumulates total points, or is there a interview process involved where they get points?
There is an oral, they don't get any points on the oral examination. That's a pass or fail.
Pass or fail, based on what?
If there's anything in their criminal history that is inappropriate or whatever.
Okay. Well, anyway, honestly, I'm sorry, I'm being rude. Go ahead, finish, ma'am.
And it can be many different things. If they've had a poor work history or, there are several.
So now you get into objective things, though. I mean, subjective things. Am I not right? Poor work history, that could be subject to someone's opinion.
Well, we have an attorney that tells us what we can eliminate.
Well, but my example is the person you rehired with a DUI. You see my point? But anyway, and I don't want to get stuck on this subject either, but in all honesty, all you people here that's running the city, my community think that it's obvious that you are discriminating in your hiring practices. And what will make us change our mind is if we see some black policemen on the street. And I would say it is not likely that, just like you come up with black presidents and black astronauts, etc., and before you get them, people saying, well, they can't do it. I mean, this is how we look at it. And then again, this is an opinion. And the way to correct this problem is to, just like we did when we had the riot and we tore the city up, okay? Just if we see black policemen on the street, that we know there's black people that's qualified. We know there are very intelligent black men that score high on tests, etc. And I'll let you address that, and then I'll cut this subject off so we can continue. Go ahead and I'll let you and the lawyer here address it. And then I'll go to the next person over here and I'll work my way back over there. So go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, in the 90s, we had another procedure that was an agreement with a court order, and we did a banding process. And the officers, we hired probably, I'm going to say 8 or 10 black officers from that process. They have all moved on. We have one that became an attorney. We have one that went to another department. I mean, I could give you statistics on where they all took off
DEA,
to.
FBI, they all went to federal agencies.
Right.
Oh, so some actually moved up when they left.
Right.
They didn't all
They
get
used
fired.
us as a stair step. They
Right.
took our training and our
And moved
so
up.
forth and
Okay.
moved on. But we have
And
made
that's
every
not your
effort.
fault. Okay. Go ahead.
All I was going to say is, I started with the city in 1977, and all through that history, there has been an effort at affirmative action hiring for police and fire. It's still there, and if you have qualified individuals who are interested in joining the Alton Police or Fire, we'd love to hear from them.
And we'd
But
love
those-
some help in recruiting.
Those
That's why we
gentlemen
send the
or
letters
women-
out to all the churches to try to get interest and to try to get support to move this along.
Okay, I got another question then. Now, I was under the impression that you all were not allowed to use affirmative action in your hiring practices now.
The affirmative action we use
Or is it
is
still in
not,
effect?
yeah, we do not give like points because you're an African American. The affirmative action I'm talking about is we make targeted advertising efforts to get into the African American community and try to recruit people. We go to, I know Anita and others have gone to Lewis and Clark, job fairs, that sort of thing, trying to reach out, and we still do. But we cannot give points or preference because of your race, but we don't make that effort in any other community aside from the African American community, especially target our advertising.
Okay, all right. Now, the next person, now, going back further, they haven't had a chance. I see you, they haven't had a chance to talk. Go ahead.
My name is Ed Ballinger. I work for the city. I have a question for the mayor and Navy personnel, public works director. But I have a comment for the chief. What Mr. Cannon was saying was the intimidation tactics is what stops you from going through the complaint process. Okay, when they come out, 2 of them come out. We all know it. You're a cop, you know it. It happens. I come down there personally, in my city uniform to file a complaint. The guy told me, well, his commander's not here, you can't file it. I know better than that. I just left it alone. But I saw a cop on the street and told him what I needed to tell him, because I had an issue with him. Okay, so we all know the police department has a very, very, very negative reputation in our community. And we want you to address it, try and change it.
These issues can't be solved overnight. All I'm asking is to give me a
I
chance.
said we want you
That's all I'm asking.
to address it and try and change it. That's what I said.
Amen.
That's what I said. That's all. I'm not going to criticize you because we all know.
Yeah, he's
a lot of
new.
us got negative experiences with them, and it still goes on. We know that. You know that. These people know that. Everybody knows.
Goes on right now.
My question to the mayor, personnel, public works. You know, we do have a lot of little kids out here, teenagers. They want summer jobs. Are you hiring this summer? And if so, do you have a certain number of people you're going to hire, you know, for the summer? What is it, 120 days, 180 days?
Yeah, we have
whatever?
to change it because of affordable care coming in, so probably actually wind up getting more seasonals due to the time, or due to the way that the benefit actually roll out from the federal government.
Because if
I do believe we are, Amanda, right now, we're starting to ramp up seasonal.
Yeah, we are hiring for seasonals.
start
yeah.
now,
Yeah,
so
and
they
then
need to come down and see
they
it.
can come in my office.
Okay, what office is that so everybody know?
Yeah, and it is on our website, underneath my tab, underneath personnel.
What's your name?
Amanda Scoggins.
What about the paper? She has this in paper.
We don't advertise that job in the paper because it's all year round. We have referees in different seasons that come in, soccer, baseball,
But
basketball.
some people don't know that, though. It needs to be in the paper so they can know.
Mayor, can it be publicized? Is it a law that it can't be put in the paper? Okay, so it can be put in the paper, right? Okay, that's real simple.
They
Say again?
We don't post stuff.
You saying we can't, Mayor? What are you saying?
Well, we're a little tight on the budget now, so we try to watch where we can. That's why we're here, so help us get the work. Yeah, we're
Okay, so maybe we can make that a priority, because putting something in the paper ain't that much. Matter of fact, I will give you the money to put it in the paper. If you don't have it, and I'm serious, I'm saying, write it down, okay? Write it down. So it either you all put it in the paper or I paid to put it in the paper, okay? We got it? And I'm saying it in public. You got it? Okay.
So there's no set number, you just wanna, you know.
I don't know if we've come to the number yet. We've been working on hours and days.
Yeah, they can only work a max of 960 hours now, so that means we have to hire more.
Is this youth employment you're talking about now?
Yes, teenagers, yes, summertime.
Now, is that-
Basically, I'm talking about the youth, but anybody.
When you say hours, are you talking about number of hours? What number of kids made the city hire? How many kids will y'all be able to hire?
Last year we hired about 60.
60? Yeah, that really needs to be in the paper, because I've talked to people several times that knew nothing about any kind of summer hiring done at the city. Absolutely zero.
I mean, the private sector had work on like Marquette and stuff like that.
Right.
Those children were.
So, Mayor, do we have, can we take your word that either you all are going to pay to put it in the paper, or I'll pay to put it in the paper? Okay, that's what we want to know. Okay, that's why we're having this meeting. It was somebody else over, was anybody else over there? Go ahead, sir.
We're switching gears a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
First, I'd like to kind of applaud the city for some of the work they've done over on State Street, the historic district. Tore down some old, torn up houses and whatnot, trying to clean up the area. Getting back to the State Street, in the 9th area, State 9th. For whatever reason, right there at Olin Park, it seems like people just love to open it up. Right as they come around that corner and don't fly down State Street. And several houses, 5, 6, have kids. There's always kids around there. I mean, I can tell you one particular car every morning. 10 till 7 or 10 till 6. I mean, what shift he's working, fly down there. He's got to be doing 60. I've seen him passing cars there before. I don't know why that's even passing lane there on State Street. I mean, it's 30 miles an hour, correct? So that's one thing. And then I don't know if this even kind of paints in this, but just like problems with neighbors and whatnot. Kind of made some complaints to the city about it, and it doesn't seem like it really went anywhere. You know, the neighbor on the side of us has floodlights, and instead of illuminating their yard, actually illuminate our house, my backyard, my garage. Summer's coming, I want to be out in the backyard, my fire pit, and enjoy the beer. Summer like everybody else. It's going to be kind of hard if my backyard is completely illuminated from the neighbor's lights.
And our bedrooms.
Oh. That sounds like a law enforcement question.
Little stuff like that. And I'd like to also applaud the work you guys did at Golden Park. Got some new park benches on there, I guess. Last one got torn up pretty quickly. I'm not sure controlling the area would help. I hate the city wasting money on park benches after only 2 years. But just kind of reinforce what was said earlier, maybe controlling the area a little bit more. For the most part, it seems like a pretty quiet park, but I guess you never know. I've seen people up there after dark and whatnot, but that's pretty much all I have.
Do you need a response from anybody, or you just making a comment?
They're more than free to comment if they like.
I think I have the address on the house you're speaking about, and we're actually having a conversation there with regards to that issue. So I'll be in contact with you next day or two, so we can help you out.
And with
The
regard
cars
to.
driving down the street really kind of bother me. I mean, you can just hear, literally, as soon as they make that turn, right there in Golden Park, they just open it up.
With regard to that, I can speak to that because I live up there. I've talked to the chief extensively. He has increased patrols up there. Actually scared me to death one night because he was sitting there running radar and pulled out and actually kind of scared me. But I've talked to the chief extensively about that, and he has been putting more patrols up there to try to combat the problem.
There's just a lot of kids up there. You know what kids, they're just oblivious to traffic, and I think
They don't, yeah, even though you have to look both ways, they don't. They just run out.
Okay, y'all done then? Am I finished on this side? Okay, you haven't spoken yet, right?
No.
Okay, go ahead. Then I'll go get over here, okay? I see y'all hands up over there. We get over here. Go ahead, man.
Hi, my name is Calvin Hammonds. I worked with John Construction last year. I was a sub for them, and I had commented on the houses, the new houses that they built last year. And I was kind of curious about what was the process of, getting one of the houses, et cetera. And when he told me that you have to stay in the house 30 years and so on and so forth, I thought that was kind of crazy. I'm like, is it 15 years?
It's right.
Well, even 15 years, I mean, could someone kind of explain the program of the new houses that's here in Mexico and what's the purpose of the
I want to
house?
hear that myself.
Those houses were funded with aid from low-income housing tax credits. When those are federal tax credits that are issued to develop affordable housing. One of the tax compliance requirements are that those tax credits have to be held and monitored for 15 years. So the owners and developers of the property have to maintain ownership for 15 years for their federal tax compliance. After that 15-year period, then those houses can be sold. That's why the tenants have to remain as renters for 15 years if they have an interest in purchasing the property.
So they move out to start all over again. They're there for 5 years and they move out. Does the process start all over again?
No, sir.
No.
But still 15. Okay.
Maybe explain to me, I'm one of the first tenants to move in the whole housing development. And I have a contract in my house that says that the government had supplied this money. We take the leasing loan for 15 years. $1,000 each year will go toward the payment on the house. So as we get older and have the 15 years, the house is paid for. We got $15,000 to go toward the cost of the house, so we can go to the lender.
Sure, that's a down payment.
I think that's incorrect, sir. I think each year that you stay there, you accrue a $1,000 credit towards the purchase price. The house is paid off in 15 years.
But you have to be there, and if you stop, say, they built a whole new section of houses last year, the year before, okay, if they said, Mr. Holman, if you want to move, you can move over here, but you're starting all over again. You lose whatever you had in equity. Well, I don't want to lose anything.
Right, exactly.
Lose anything.
Right.
See, so no, your question was, do you start all over again? You don't start all over again.
You move out, I move in. Does the 15 years start all over again?
No.
Okay.
Mr. Holman was one of the original tenants in the first phase of Hampton Place. That project was developed in 3 phases, so there is a different 15-year compliance window for each phase of the project. So as the original tenants have kind of worked towards through 10 years, I believe. I think the first unit's open in roughly
2 years will be faced with the program.
Okay, again, I don't know if you're really understanding my question. Okay, this commitment that these developers or the co-owners of the property, as far as the tax implications go, they have to hold it for 15 years, correct?
Correct.
All right. They hold it for 15 years. Now, it's not based off of the occupant that's in it, this 15-year jeopardy that they hold it, whatever. What I'm saying is that, say for instance, they hold it for 15 years. This person stays there, this original occupant stays there for like 14 years. Okay. So what I'm saying is that somebody else moves in. Do they have the opportunity in that next year to buy that property? Or does the process start all over?
No, they would have the opportunity after that following.
Okay, all right. That was my question.
I got one question on that subject. People who buy those houses, just to keep it simple, will they basically pay the house off in the amount of time that the rest of us would take to pay the house off? No. That's my question. Okay. And then, my comment is, this is one of the reasons we started this organization that I just talked about, is because, and my opinion, the opinion of a lot of people here in the community, that was a bad deal, but this mayor didn't do it, okay? That was a deal that should have never went through, and we should have never tolerated. I tried to get some people to stand up against it when it was going on. No one would speak up, so it went. But it's a done deal, though, and this mayor didn't do it. Okay?
If I could address that, obviously everybody would have their own personal opinions on the nature of the project. but I would disagree that with the assessment that it was a money grab or a bad deal to get 80 new construction houses built out of Mexico. I grew up here in the 4th Ward. I've been here 37 years of my life. I know what Mexico was like when the 2 taverns was out there. I know what the derelict houses was like out in Mexico. So to get somebody to invest over $30 million in new housing in Mexico, who else was stepping up to do that?
I can tell you who else, but he's dead now. And again, it wasn't this mayor. One was Brother Cox up there, and you can laugh, but Lonnie Banks, I went to school with Lonnie Banks, and I know him, and I'm telling the truth. Lonnie Banks tried to do some stuff like that, and if you don't believe me, you can find anybody that knows Lonnie Banks, okay? And you know, now, Lonnie Banks could have done it for $40,000 a piece, and he was blocked from doing what he wanted to do. And these people were allowed to come in. I got this from the horse's mouth. Now we're going to change the subject again because we don't want to be here all night.
I'd like to address that.
But that's our opinion.
If I could address that, I think the alderman.
And when you finish talking, it's still our opinion. It was a ripoff.
That's not fair.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Martin.
My problem with what you're saying, Lonnie was my nephew.
Mm-hmm.
Lonnie had some property, but Lonnie went in with a group out of East St. Louis. Lonnie did not want to build in Alton. That was never.
Well, I disagree with you. That's not what he told me, okay? And I don't want to be here all night, so go ahead. That ain't what he told me, okay? Anybody else want to comment on that?
If I can comment on that
Go
real
ahead.
quickly. The city of Alton actually donated property to Mr. Banks to develop a subdivision off Oakwood, adjacent to Lovejoy Lane, a project which he ultimately couldn't get financed, but we did try to work with him for a number of years and actually gave him land to develop a subdivision that ultimately didn't happen.
I hear you, but I personally talked to him, and I'm gonna give somebody else another chance, but the bottom line is, Lonnie said it was blocked, and he wasn't allowed to do it, okay? And so we can't, we won't get into that, okay? I'm just telling you that's our story. The community, the people who run the Alton community, the people who give him his licenses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, they stop him from doing it. Now, if you want, Mayor, I can bring his brother up who knows more about it, and you can sit there and talk to him. And what's going to happen is everyone that did wrong is going to deny it. Okay, we can't prove it, and it's not going to go anywhere. I'm just giving you our opinion. This is why you're here, to hear how we feel. Okay?
To hear how you feel. That's pretty loud.
It's going to go to 8 o'clock, I guess. Over here. 8 o'clock.
Me?
Oh, afterwards? Okay.
I'm sorry I got here late. I've been here for a while. My name is Dave White. I live in the community. First of all, I had a whole list of stuff, and I thought it was going to be a floor mat, so I was going to address it, but I see we're going from here to here to here. First of all, I want to go back to the police department, because we went from that to that. Only thing I heard what people had to say. I agree. What I agree with is that the police department, when they come into this neighborhood and we try to address things, they're aggressive. That's all I can say. Okay, I've been there, I paid, I don't cause them trouble. When I call and need help, and they act like I was the one who was doing it. Okay? And that was my experience more than once. But what I really wanted to say was, I applaud the police department for coming through the neighborhood. Okay? It's not, I've only lived here close to 5 years now, okay? But I've been in this community for 40-something years. I married a woman out of Mexico, okay? My brother lives in Mexico. My friends and my schoolmates live in Mexico. So I see the change, okay? As far as the housing thing, yeah, it's a good deal for some folks. It's a bad deal for others. If you don't want to live here, don't move here. We got contracts, the city's trying to work. You got to admit, the neighborhood looks good. When we throw down in the neighborhood and we cut our grass, we look as good as anybody else, okay? I come from North Alton. I live on Highland Street. I've lost my house. I moved to Mexico, okay? But it ain't like it used to be. It's getting better. But our police department need to give us some respect too. Now, officer, what you was talking about before, and you was talking about the alley stuff, and Mr. Harrison talked. Right away, I jotted, this is what I see. It's good to be up there on Tuesday, but you need to be consistent. You need to be consistent and move around, because I know where you at. I speed. You know what I'm saying? Okay, you know. Some days I look up, I had my head somewhere else. I run right through that stop sign because I've been driving through that Holly Street without that stop sign for 40 years. Some days, you know, when I look, my car drives me. By the time I get by that church, I'm trying to slow down. I hit it and go on. I look, but I go on. Okay? But you need to be consistent. That's all I'm saying.
And I appreciate that, your comments. As a chief coming in now, we have to learn to do more with less. Okay? We've cut our police department. Listen, within the last 8 years, I remember 10 years ago, we had 71 officers. Okay? Right now we have 56, 57, and we have 2 more getting ready to retire. I appreciate that. This is a big city. It really is.
I know.
We can't be everywhere. Okay? And there's a persona out here, okay, that we have 10 officers on right now. Okay? In reality, we have far less than that. Okay? We have to do what we can do. We'll address every problem, but we can't solve every problem without your help. Okay? We can't be everywhere at once.
Okay.
Just have a little patience. Okay? And we'll try to solve these problems.
My issue is not you being out to address drama. I'm saying consistency, that you're out here so somebody don't think I can go do this.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Consistency. Gets riding through today. You're sitting on, what's the street next to the church on Highland?
Webster.
See, you police sitting right there behind the church. I know where they're sitting. They're sitting over there, switching them around. If I can figure it out, dope dealers and drivers can figure that out too. Okay, sir. If he's gonna sit there every Tuesday from 6 to 9, I know when to speed through there. Dope dealers know when to sell. All I'm saying is switch it up, make yourself, you know where the dope dealers stand and sit. Park over there for a while. Just do it. They get smarter than say, I ain't going out there. Might pull up today. You just gotta be half an hour here, half an hour over there, half an hour here, get out, come back later.
And what I want to say also is, when I first became chief, I met with the Coalition of Concerned Citizens. Okay? And I printed up about 30 or 40 ride-along cards for members of the African American community. And the 10 months that I've been chief, only one person has even came in to do it.
I'll ride with you, chief.
Okay, if you're done, I'm gonna be one more person.
What I'm saying
You
is,
got about 2 minutes then.
there's concerns about unprofessionalism. Okay, please, if you want to ride along, we can make that happen. Okay, but nobody's come forward to do that.
Yeah. But here again, I got the floor, but I got 2 minutes, okay? But the bottom line of that is that we don't know that's available. We just know it for the first time today. I do. Okay? And this is why this is here. We need to know what our options are. We know what our options are not. We just don't know what our options are. You want this community to grow, you gotta let us know what our options are.
I put that out there to be transparent. So all you would have to do is sign a waiver, so that if you get in an accident, you're not going to sue me. But obviously, then you ride along and you see the workings of the police department. And I would encourage that, because we stay pretty busy on it. Even on a Tuesday night, you might not think we're very busy.
Hey,
we're busy all the time.
Look here.
We need to move on. We need to move on. All right, we need, because Maurice is the oldest lady in here, I think. So I'm gonna let her speak in a minute. See, I didn't know we were gonna stop at 7:30. I would have moved along faster. But you gonna stop at 7:30, right?
I'm coming on somebody else.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna let Laurie speak, and then the gentleman there, and y'all make it real short, okay? And
I did like to comment, but Steve, don't get me wrong. I think some of the police on this force is great.
I used to know a lot of them on there, not personal, but, you know, they would talk to you. That's back when they would come in the community, they would talk to you. But I can remember, this is what you need to get over to your officers. That everybody is not wrong. Everybody is not doing wrong. I called one night. You want the public's help. But then when you try to help, they turn around, some of them turn around and make it look like you're the one that's the crook or the thief or whatever. It was a girl I don't live in Mexico. But it was a girl on Swagler's parking lot, and she was screaming. I live right up from Swagler. And I kept hearing this screaming, who is that? And I went to the door, and this girl, some guy was just out there beating the heck out of this girl. And she was screaming, you know, help me, he's gonna kill me. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not one to deal with the police. But I said, I don't want him to hurt her. Because it was my daughter, I wouldn't want nobody to hurt her. Mm-hmm. So I go in there and I call the police. And it took them so long to get there, by the time they got there, she had disappeared. Because when I went in the house to call the police, I guess she left. But the guy, see, I didn't know that that's how you put yourself in jeopardy. Mm-hmm. I hadn't even seen his car parked out there by my house. And he could have jumped out and did anything to me for calling the police. Mm-hmm. But I walked over to the store, and I was telling the officer, I said, I don't know where she went. But it was a young lady out here, and she was really needing help. She was crying, she was, you know, saying, help me, he's gonna kill me, and all this stuff. And he looked at me and tried to treat me like I was the one out there beating her. I mean, I was really dumbfounded, and he talked so smart, you know. And it was a policeman with him. I just happened to know. I worked with him before he became a cop. And he said, it's okay, Louise, don't worry about him. And I thought, this is the reason that people do not get involved. You trying to help this girl, maybe save her life, maybe keep him from really hurting her. And then when the police get in and come in and treat you like you done something wrong.
You've made my argument. That's
okay.
That's
yeah,
exactly
that's what we've been
correct.
talking about.
And it's not all of the officers. I know some of the officers it's good officers. But the few you got on there that don't know how to treat people, don't know how to talk to people, makes everybody else look bad. And that's crazy.
Okay. And I think that's what the mayor and the chief is here for, to hear that though. That's why they're here. Go ahead.
Just a comment from Jerry Mullaney. I was hearing about all the localized issues here. I'm not from this area. But how is the illumination in those areas? Are there lots of lights?
Yes. Which areas are you talking about?
The Mexico area where all these...
You're in it right now. This is Mexico.
Yes, about 3 years ago, I believe there was a street light incentive. We put a lot of lights around Alton to try to...
The other thing, one of the questions I had for this meeting was some of the underprivileged people that are in various phases of welfare, one kind or another, have expressed the need for a bus pass so they can get on the buses and not be charged to get to work, to get to a job, to get them off the welfare
They need
rolls.
extended bus hours, sir.
Say what?
They need extended bus hours. The buses.
I don't know about that, but I'm just talking about the bus pass for the city. Is there something that can happen with the city buses and the routes where somebody that qualifies for the
I work for the bus company, and there is a system set up. Everybody don't qualify. And these people down here, they can tell them, but they can't make them. All right, so
so where do you go qualify for that?
Go ahead, Mayor, what are you saying, Mayor?
No, that was this will be the last question.
Yeah, okay. All right, the mayor wants to do some things, so let's, first I want to applaud y'all. This did turn out to be a real town hall meeting, because we said that. We didn't have no competition, we're doing too nice. So the mayor is up, and let's let him be the mayor.
First of all, I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. I think it was very beneficial. I would like to echo some things. I know I thought we would get to some more issues, but we seem to focus quite a bit on police issues.
Those I can tell.
And I want to echo what the police does. You may have had a poor experience from time to time. And since I've been in office for 10 months, We have put forth a concerted effort to do more community policing. We have instituted an amnesty program to help folks that, maybe like the gentleman expressed, maybe missed a court date because for some small, maybe a headlight being out, but they didn't want to miss work, so they went to work and missed a court date. We've worked with folks trying to help the police department work better with them, but I can assure you, you may think you have a bad day. And I've ridden with these police officers. If you would do the ride along, you would think you'd never have a bad day again. These guys are under an incredible amount of stress. And when they're called, they go into very difficult situations. And the vast, vast majority of times, these police officers do operate with complete respect. They treat people with dignity. You may have an incident from here to here, which we'll work on, but I want to let you folks know that on a day-to-day basis, with arrests being up 6%, our crime rate going down, these police officers, believe it or not, do have your back, and the vast majority of the times exceed your expectations and exceed the city's expectations. We are a safe city, and we are getting safer, and it's due directly because of this police department.
Yes, sir.
So I definitely want to let you folks know, thank you for coming out. If you have any questions, and I think anyone that's been in here knows this administration has an open door. If you have a rough time or you don't think you've been treated fair, reach out to us, call us. We may come to an agreement where we agree to disagree, but you will be heard. And that's part of this. This is the commitment that the city government working for the people again. And you have that commitment from myself and this entire staff. So anything you need to, never ever hesitate to contact us. So again, I want to thank you. I want to thank St. Paul's Church for allowing us to use the facility. We'll be here for the next 20 or 30 minutes. I'd like maybe y'all to get to know some of the other people on the staff, get up and talk to them, introduce yourself, and I thank y'all for coming out tonight. Thank you.
And real quick, I want to announce the pastor of the church, the guy that's in charge of this. He was a little late. And I announce him first, and then you come up and do like the mayor said.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I did sit back and enjoy the interaction you all have with the city administrators. Pulled two things out. One, times have changed. You know, we used to be able to, when I was little, my neighbor could say something to me and I had better sit down. We can't really do that now as the kids, young folks ain't really listening like that. So we have to be the eyes and the ears for the departments. Now, on the other hand, I heard 5 times, I sat back in the county, maybe 6, that there's a disconnect between the community at large and the administration. If they feel that they're being, I don't want to say victimized, but when they come out, when somebody calls you all out, it seems like they feel that there's no connection. So if that can be fixed, if there's a bridge that can be mended today, that will probably be it. I'm not going to hold you all long, but thank you all for coming out. I'll turn it back over to the moderator.
All right.
Amen.
Like the mayor said, I think he don't want you to go, right, Mayor? You want to come up and interact with you guys, right?
Yeah.
Right. Right. Come up and talk to them, because this is all a part of it. Start getting closer to each other and being friendly.